It is time to talk about Kobbie Mainoo, and it is time to talk about his future as a Manchester United player. Now, before we get into that, please like and subscribe. This is a brand new YouTube channel. And also get down in the comments. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Any comments are good comments. Now, it feels like an apt time to be talking about Kobbie Mainoo, doesn't it? That January transfer window is just around the corner. We've seen rumours, countless rumours of Kobbie Mainoo leaving on loan. I've seen Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Napoli, Chelsea, Spurs, West Ham even linked to a loan move with Kobbie Mainoo. So it feels like a good time to talk about him. Now, this is a multi-leveled issue with Kobbie Mainoo. It's not just the fact of, all right, he's not athletic enough, so we can't play him. There's so many different tangents that you could go down with this. So I think it's best to talk about the system. It's best to talk about Kobbie Mainoo individually, and then it's best to talk about the players that he's competing with. Now, if we start off with the system, do I think Kobbie Mainoo is a carbon perfect fit for this system? No, I don't. I think his athleticism is a bit of an issue in that central midfield role. That's not saying he can't play in that position, and it's also not saying that he should start every game. But what I'm saying is, systematically, he's not a perfect fit for this system. But then I also look at it, and I look at the other players that have played in that position. Bruno Fernandes, right? Is he a perfect fit for that position? Definitely not. Is Casemiro a perfect pick for that position? No, he's not. So then that kind of evades the excuse of not playing Kobbie Mainoo, because there are so many players in this team that are playing different positions to what they're used to. You can't turn around and say, well, Kobbie's not used to playing that situation. He's not used to playing as number 8 in a 2. You have to give him the opportunity to do so. And then if you move on to the players that he's competing with, who I've just mentioned, Bruno Fernandes, right? We were told earlier on in the season that that was Kobbie Mainoo's competition. Amarin came out and said Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo are in competition for that position, right? I can understand Kobbie Mainoo being annoyed at that, because Bruno Fernandes never gets injured. Bruno Fernandes is the club captain. Bruno Fernandes is our talisman and has been for the last 5 or 6 years, however long he's been at Manchester United. So as a player, Kobbie Mainoo, you can think you are one of the best players in the team. That's not beyond the realms of possibility that Kobbie Mainoo sits there and thinks, I can hang with these. Like, I'm one of the best in the team. And he might be valid in saying that, but Bruno Fernandes is the best in that team. And if that is the only position the manager sees you playing in, you are going to have a tough time playing football games. And then I look on the other side of that, which is Casemiro or Garte in that other role. Do I think Kobbie Mainoo could play certain games in that position? Yes, I do. There's certain games at home this year where I've looked at it and I've said, maybe just give Casemiro a rest. Let Kobbie Mainoo come in and play that position. I think there's certain, like the Everton game in particular, stands out to me as one where Kobbie Mainoo should have definitely been involved. I look at the West Ham game, definitely should have been involved. And so if you look at that stylistically and you think, right, he doesn't fit the system perfectly, he's in competition with Bruno Fernandes, how on earth does Kobbie Mainoo get minutes? Now, I think there's been so many opportunities for him to play more football. And if you go back to that Everton game, right, I think there's an opportunity to start Kobbie Mainoo 2 places in that game. Number one, you play him instead of Casemiro because you think, right, we're going to have the most of the ball. We want someone in there, not necessarily ultra defensive, but someone who's going to get on the ball, dictate play. And you look at the game in hindsight, and we could have probably done with that. And then I also look at Bruno Fernandes and I look at who started up front in that game, and I look at Joshua Zirkzee. And I was quite vocal before the game in terms of saying I don't think Joshua Zirkzee should be playing in this game. I didn't think he was the right fit, and it turned out to be true. He didn't play very well. So I was thinking, right, go and find the video. I've done a video talking about my team before that game. I wanted to push Bruno Fernandes into the 10, play Mbeumo up front, whoever it was, and put Kobbie Mainoo in that 8 alongside Casemiro. That was a valid opportunity to play Kobbie Mainoo, and the manager is just not taking that opportunity. And then I think to the games where we've needed a goal later on. So if you think of that Everton game, you think of, I can't think of another game off the top of my head where we've needed goals. And it brings Manuel Ugarte on, and he'll bring 2 defenders on. And I'm sat there and I'm thinking, Kobbie Mainoo should be coming on in these games. Push Bruno. I'll take Bruno Fernandes off, or push him further up, or whatever it might be. Kobbie Mainoo should be coming on in games like that, because we've seen in his first season he can impact games. Liverpool, Man City. You think of the Wolves goal that he scored on his was that his debut or one of his first games? Like, Kobbie Mainoo could impact games of football higher up. Leon last year. So to turn around and laugh in an interview at the weekend saying that Kobbie Mainoo is not an offensive substitution, I think it's flawed, and it's also quite damaging. Can you imagine being Kobbie Mainoo sat there watching that interview and Ruben Amorim laughs away suggestions that you are an attacking midfielder? I think for me that is a big, big worry. And I think then you have to look at this from Kobbie Mainoo's situation and you say, right, fundamentally, I can't say Bruno Fernandes not playing in this team unless he gets an injury, which he never gets injuries. That is my one route to play consistent football. So what do you do? As Kobbie Mainoo, you look at it and you say, well, I'm not going to play football, so I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to Napoli. I'm going to play week in, week out in a top side, by the way. Some of these sides that are linked with Kobbie Mainoo are better footballing sides than what this Manchester United side is. That's the funny thing about all of this. And this isn't me saying that Kobbie Mainoo should start week in, week out. That isn't what I feel. That isn't how I think he's produced so far. I don't think that's him as a package in terms of playing weaker. 38 games a season isn't Kobbie Mainoo. But he's just not getting opportunities. Kobbie Mainoo should be a big part of this team, and he will be a big part, I believe, of Manchester United going forward and potentially getting back to the top. He's an elite level footballer. And for me, I have serious question marks over Ruben Amorim if he can't find a place for Kobbie Mainoo. I don't care what it is. I don't care what your system is. Find a way to play Kobbie Mainoo. And I think at the minute, that is just not happening. Maybe if we had Europe, maybe if we were still in the Carabao, Kobbie Mainoo would have more opportunities to play football. And maybe when Bruno Fernandes leaves, that becomes the opportunity. But my worry is, we let Kobbie Mainoo go out on loan to a Napoli, we let him go to a Chelsea, we let him go to a Spurs, someone like that, and he tears it up. And then he turns around at the end of the season and he comes back to Manchester United and he says, well, Bruno's still there. Am I going to play football next year? And there is a tangible possibility that he comes back to Manchester United, realises he doesn't have a place in this squad, and then decides to leave Manchester United. And I think for me, that would be a sucker punch to the Manchester United fans. It'd be a sucker punch and kind of degrading what Manchester United is all about. We are about academy prospects. It's not tokenism. These lads are good enough. Play them. That is my feeling on this entire situation. Now, let me know what you think down below. Let me know if Ruben Amorim's right, Kobbie's right, whoever it is. Get down in the comments. Let me know, and I'll see you next time.